I'm Dr. Bill Houston, Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education, and I'm pleased to join you to introduce you to the two winners of the Patrick E. Bolger Memorial Award in the Ethical Practice of Medicine and the Millman Award. Among the awards given to our graduates, these two are among the most prestigious because they're selected by members of the graduating class. So first, the Patrick E. Bolger Memorial Award in the Ethical Practice of Medicine. Originally established by the MCW Executive Committee, it is now endowed by MCW President Emeritus T. Michael Bolger, his wife Ginny, and his late sister Bernadette. It is presented to the student who has demonstrated excellence in the field of ethics and medicine. This year's winner is Kimberly Tyler. Next, the Millman Award, and this is presented to the senior who, through the thoughtful care of patients and enthusiastic acquisition of skills and knowledge, best exemplifies the characteristics of the ideal physician. These qualities prevailed during the short career of William H. Millman, MD, a 1943 graduate of Marquette University who died in World War II. This recipient is judged by his peers as being considered the most outstanding candidate for the Doctor of Medicine degree, and this year's recipient is Benjamin Stoltz. So congratulations, Kim and Ben, but also to all our other graduates. Many have achieved honors, but all of you have got the biggest prize of all, which is your Doctor of Medicine degree. So welcome to the profession of medicine, and remember, you'll always be part of the MCW community.
Hey friends, we made it. Congratulations. It certainly hasn't been an easy ride, and these last few months have been uncertain and trying. What a strange time to become physicians. This has absolutely been a time of loss, and that would include the loss of a season of medical school that is treasured. I know we have all acutely felt the loss of time with one another, time we were so looking forward to as we anticipated this moment of graduation. For all the loss, this time has also allowed me to stop and reflect on the last 4 years in all their joy, sorrow, suffering, and hope. The memory of medical school will be one of many emotions. It will include meeting some of my very favorite people in the world, with friendships forged through long days of studying, triumph, and sometimes defeat, on the intramural field and at Thriller at Miller, innumerable cups of coffee, and countless nights of laughter and conversation. It will include the gnawing of anxiety before exams, the intense experience of imposter syndrome, and the isolation of studying for step one. It will include countless firsts. The first newborn I heard wail as she was born, and the look on her parents' faces. My first patient death. The first code in which I participated. And the first time I held a human heart in my hands. The heart of my first patient, who I met in the anatomy lab alongside several classmates who are now like family to me. As we dissected our cadaver, that first patient, we also assembled a story of his life. And that, to me, is the most important thing I have learned in medical school, the importance of stories. Medicine, at its simplest and purest, is really the sharing of and listening to stories, the showing up for and sitting with suffering, and the holding up of our shared humanity. Sometimes, ideally most times, we can cure our patients, but not always. And it is through listening to and being present with our patients' stories that we can achieve healing, even when we cannot cure. This is my hope for our class of doctors, that we cure when we can and to the best of our abilities, but that we heal always. Finally, I hope that we are the generation of doctors that remembers we must put on our own oxygen masks before we help others put on theirs. I hope we ask for help when we need it. I hope we live meaningful, healthy lives, lives in which we honor our own stories as well as our patients' stories. Cheers to the last 4 years, and here's to the empathy, generosity, kindness, and self-compassion we take with us into our futures.
Well, I'm quite confident that none of us expected that this is what our graduation would look like. In some alternate universe, we're all hanging out, going on vacations, maybe even hugging. This time seems disappointing and lacking closure. In times like this, I find it important that we recall our purpose and calling. My own decision to enter medicine was based on my beliefs, desires, and talents. More than anything else, I wanted to be useful. I hoped to affect people's lives with my work. We all enter medical school bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And this optimism continues through Hoagie Bear's anatomy labs, Dr. Franco's hepatology lectures, and maybe even your first 8-hour day of walking rounds on medicine. At some point, though, we tend to lose our purpose, our vision. Through our continued exposure to sick patients and our own growing exhaustion, it's only natural that we progressively become less focused on the patient and more focused on ourselves. As a student in the hospital, my biggest frustrations came when the patient's benefit opposed my own. I remember one time during rounds third year, after my team finished in a particularly sick patient's room, I stayed back for a few seconds to give him a sponge of water. After I left the room, my senior resident reprimanded me for delaying rounds. Now sure, there were nurses and CNAs who could give him a sponge, but I was there at the time. The next day, though, when I stayed back with the patient again, he told me, "You're on my team." It didn't matter that I was the least qualified person on our team, or that my time with him might reflect poorly on my evaluations. He felt that I cared for him. My hope is that our class will shuck our pride and self-glorification and focus exclusively on the care of the person in front of us. Now, don't get me wrong, I wish we had the recognition that comes with the ceremonies, senior dinners, all the rigmarole and pomp and circumstance that previous graduates have enjoyed. However, I hope that this lack of occasion will return our class to the heart of medicine. Instead of seeking our own recognition, I hope this will cause us to seek the needs of our patient first and exclusively. Having said that, I hope that every one of you are able to find ways to celebrate with family and friends to appreciate this momentous occasion. I know that I will look back on my time at MCW very fondly, and hope you all will too. We all entered here as students and are leaving as physicians. Congratulations, everyone. We made it.